Hey all, this is Reddit Tosker. Today let's talk some more about Tears of the Kingdom. It seems a TV ad for Tears of the Kingdom was leaked. The ad doesn't really have anything new, really. But it does show new footage, and it shows things in new context that turns out to be pretty crucial. So you can glean quite a lot from these 20 seconds of footage. Now, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to even talk about these since these are leaks. I don't have a problem discussing leaks. You guys are all adults and you can decide whether you want to see them or not. But I really didn't want Nintendo to come after me. But I'm seeing operations much larger than mine cover these leaks and do it badly in my opinion, like GameXplain and IGN. And they're openly talking about what's in the content of the leaks even if they're not showing them. And I found several different places where the leaked footage is actually on YouTube, which means that Nintendo doesn't seem to be caring that much or coming after these people. I'm not going to show any of the leaked footage on my channel, but like those bigger channels, I am going to describe it to you, and of course I'll also talk about the implications there. So let this be your spoiler warning before I start talking about it. Honestly, I kind of wish I hadn't seen that leaked ad. I don't really need new information after that final trailer. I've been convinced. I think that trailer convinced nearly anybody that's gonna get convinced, and any more can only serve to diminish my first-time enjoyment. So really, I hope after this there's just nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about other than rehashing what we've already seen. I don't want any more leaked footage, I don't want any more trailers. But anyway, describing the footage. Keep in mind, these are my guesses and interpretations of what I'm seeing, so I don't guarantee accuracy. In the first shot, you see Link on his paraglider going towards Hyrule Castle, that's floating below him. An interesting thing here is that on the minimap you can see Hyrule. Like the surface of Hyrule is mapped, which I'm pretty sure you couldn't see Hyrule mapped in the gameplay trailer yet. And even more interesting, you can see what looks like the Sheikah Tower equivalent icon on the map. And it does kind of look like the towers that we've seen across various trailers. So I'm going to assume that mapping out the overworld is the same as it was originally, except the towers are in different locations and they're different towers. But like I pointed out in my gameplay trailer analysis, the conditions for mapping out the Sky Islands seem to be different than the conditions for mapping out the overworld. Because you can see Link has the Sky Island area mapped out, but the ground underneath him when he gets knocked down is still unmapped. And I doubt the method for mapping out the Sky Islands is going to be towers again, it'll be something different. Next you see Link on the Sky Islands and he's walking on the minecart rails that you saw before falling off. Then the clip changes and Link is building a hovercraft, and the hovercraft has two of the goopy battery things we've seen before. Now interestingly, while he's flying, the battery icon that we saw in the gameplay trailer doesn't appear, and instead it looks like the battery things that he put on the vehicle are being drained instead. In the clip you only see one of them being drained, which means I think that they'll get drained one at a time. Their purpose being not using up your own battery, and probably they'll last a lot longer than what you could do without them. As Link is flying the hovercraft he built, you can see a small piece of land in the middle of the water with a ring of rocks. And it does look like there is a rock missing from the ring, which I think pretty much confirms that koroks are going to return. Finally, this clip is also notable because Link has his long hair and is also wearing his blue tunic. I mention that because a lot of people have speculated that the hair might be tied to the time travel business, since most of the time that we've seen Link with long hair, he's had that ancient Zonai tunic, and when he has it tied up, he's usually been wearing the blue tunic. But here we clearly see him with the blue tunic and having his long hair. So make of that what you will. Next you see Link on the Bridge of Hylia, and he's fighting the three-headed dragon that we've seen in previous trailers. The dragon is flying above Link, and the three heads are shooting fire lasers at him. It also has the boss name on display. This boss is called Flame Gleeok, which confirms the speculation people had that this was indeed Gleeok, from a previous Zelda title. Interestingly, above the boss name is the name of the location Bridge of Hylia, in smaller letters. And obviously the name Flame Gleeok implies that there could also be an ice Gleeok or a thunder Gleeok or different other types of Gleeoks we haven't seen yet. And maybe the fact that Bridge of Hylia is specified means that there might be other flame Gleeoks in other locations, but maybe it doesn't mean anything. Anyway, also in this shot, you see Link having more hearts than he normally does. I think that in Breath of the Wild you could have 30 hearts, which means you'd have 15 hearts in a row. However, this Link has 17 hearts in a single row, and he hasn't crested into the next one. Which means that Link will be able to have, at the very least, 34 hearts, unless this is changed for the final game. You then see Link use Ascend to get up on a encampment. Don't see anything interesting there. Except for that when he ascends, it looks like once he gets through the surface, he doesn't actually have to hop up if he doesn't want to. While he's floating on that surface, he has a button prompt to go back. He can push B to go back, which maybe implies that he can go back down the way he came if he didn't want to complete the ascension. And then the next part is the coolest thing that I wish I had not seen. I wish I had not seen. This is your last chance. This is your last chance to not listen to me. I saw it by accident. I wasn't being careful. You don't have that excuse. You've gotten warnings. Alright. So, in the next clip you see Link in the underground section that I've been talking about so much. The one showcased in a previous trailer. And the cool thing is that it's pitch dark in there. It's dark as night. You can't see anything. And so what Link does is that he has an arrow with a bulb on it, some kind of plant, and he shoots it into the darkness, and it lands on a tree in front of him. When it lands, it sprouts, and it starts glowing, so you can see better in the dark. The plant kind of looks like those Zonai plants that you see for decoration all over the place. Then he changes his camera angle slightly, and he's going off to walk into the cavern, and the cavern is enormous, and you can't see you can't see the ceiling. You can't see the walls at the end of the cavern. You can see only a little bit in front of you. But what you do see is one of those trees that were shown in the previous trailer. It glows a dull orange. And if it wasn't for that light that you just put up, that'd probably be the only thing that you can see, and you can use it as a guide in this incredibly massive looking cave. I really like darkness. I like true darkness in video games. I like when you need to make torches or craft items to navigate in the dark, for it to be really inconvenient and scary. And from what I see in that trailer, it's about as good as I've ever seen. It looks like what I wanted from Dark Souls 2 but never got. I hate myself for saying this. I hate it. I hate it. Do you know how cool it would have been to have just arrived here and not knowing about this? I have stolen from my future self, and now I'm taking it out on all of you. I sicken myself. This is gross. Also, you can see that the vertical axis shows that you're underground, you're deep underground. The rest of the ad only shows what we've seen already. But I went back, and in the first clip, I didn't notice this before, but there's an icon for a village that wasn't there before. I think it's where the Sacred Ground ruins are, in the spot where you find that first memory cutscene in Breath of the Wild. And that's it. That's all the content. Please unsubscribe because I deserve it, and unclick the bell notification because no one should ever listen to me. If you don't do it now, I'm sure to make you do it later. And until that day, thank you very much for watching.